their vows were long. They were really well written. They were funny. They were sweet. They were emotional. Travis was a puddle watching his nieces come down.
Travis Kelce did not just tear up at his own wedding. According to one of the guests who watched the entire thing unfold from inside Madison Square Garden, the three-time champion completely fell apart before Taylor Swift even reached him at the altar. And the detail that finally broke him was not the one anyone expected. Here is what happened. Sportscaster Joe Buck, who attended the July 3rd ceremony, recently opened up about what he witnessed that night, and his description of the groom has been circulating ever since. Buck explained that Travis was already emotional long before his bride appeared, describing him as a complete puddle, simply watching his young nieces make their way down the ramp as flower girls. Those 4 little girls, the daughters of his brother Jason, were the first thing to crack him. And then when Taylor herself finally walked out, Buck said Travis was a puddle all over again.
Travis was a puddle watching his nieces come down the little ramp that they built. And then, when she walked out, he was a puddle. I mean, it felt, first of all, like they were really getting married.
2 separate waves of emotion, both hitting a man known across football as one of the toughest, most confident personalities in the sport. That account lines up perfectly with what other guests have been quietly sharing for weeks now. 2 attendees described the vows as the emotional centerpiece of the entire evening, explaining that both Taylor and Travis wrote their own, reading them aloud from small gold books, each set stretching roughly 20 minutes, and Taylor, being Taylor, could not resist adding one final devastating touch. She sang part of hers. Guests said that was the moment the room genuinely lost it, and that Travis was the one who struggled most.
Their vows were long. They were really well written. They were funny. They were sweet. They were emotional.
They both wrote their own vows, and I thought they both did such a fantastic job explaining like telling a story of who they were and then like what they came to be. So that was really fun to see.
One attendee put it simply, noting that you would expect the bride to be the one crying harder, but it was actually Travis who was more emotional throughout. Taylor was not immune either, though. Reports from inside the ceremony suggest she teared up during one specific moment in his vows, the part where Travis promised to protect her forever. He was apparently nervous going in, and by most accounts he held himself together while actually speaking. It was everything happening around the vows, the flower girls, the walk down the aisle, his wife singing to him in front of 1,000 people that undid him completely. And Joe Buck offered one more detail that explains why so many of these accounts feel so vivid. Because every guest had their phone taken and locked away before entering. Nobody spent the ceremony filming it, scrolling through it, or half watching it through a screen. Everyone in that room was fully present, which is exactly why the people who were there keep describing moments with this much specificity weeks after the fact. They were not remembering footage. They were remembering the actual night.
I think because they took everybody's phone when you got there, everybody relaxed. And once kind of the shock factor wore off, at least for somebody like me, it's like, hey, there's Tom Cruise, there's Brad Pitt, there's Steven Spielberg, there, on and on and on. Chris Stapleton, people that I admire. Beck. I was standing next to Beck. I'm a huge Beck
that's
fan.
Awesome.
There is another layer to the whole thing that makes the emotion even more understandable. And it comes from someone with a front row view of this family. Because Kelce recently spoke about the wedding on her own podcast, and her framing of the entire day was strikingly different from how the outside world has been treating it, she opened with genuine warmth, congratulating the couple, calling the day absolutely magical, and saying how happy she is for them and how dearly the family loves them both.
I would like to say congratulations to Tay and Trav. It was absolutely magical. I'm so happy for them. We love them so, so dearly.
But the line that stuck with people was what came next. Kylie explained that the ceremony was really just making things official because Taylor has already been part of the Kelce family for quite some time.
It was only making it official because Taylor's been part of the family now for quite some time.
That is a remarkable way to describe what was, by any measure, one of the most talked about weddings in recent memory. To the rest of the world, this was a global cultural event, 1,000 celebrity guests, a fortress of security, headlines for weeks. To the family standing closest to it, it was mostly a formality. A beautiful day that put paperwork behind a relationship they had already accepted as permanent. Her own 4 daughters, ranging from 15 months to 6 years old, served as the flower girls. The same little girls who reportedly reduced Travis to tears the moment they started down the ramp. Kylie also made clear she would not be sharing anything further, explaining that any details worth revealing should come directly from Taylor and Travis themselves whenever they choose.
Anything else you can check in with Taylor and Travis about, because any of the details that they want to share, they can share.
She summed up her own experience simply, describing the night as intimate, incredible, and full of love, both between the couple and from everyone else in the room.
It was intimate and incredible and full of love, both for each other and everybody else's love for them.
It was a graceful way to satisfy curiosity without handing over a single genuine secret, which has quietly become the Kelce family's specialty this entire year. Not every conversation happening around this couple right now has been quite so warm, though, because retirement chatter around Travis has intensified sharply in recent days, and some of the framing has been genuinely unfair. The spark was a social media post from Chris Carter, a Hall of Fame player and longtime mentor who has trained with Travis since before his rookie season. Carter posted a photo from a training session and described Travis as preparing for his last dance, adding that the next stop would be the Hall of Fame. That single phrase set off a wave of speculation that this upcoming season will be his final one. From there, some coverage took a turn worth calling out. Certain outlets ran with framing suggesting Taylor is somehow responsible for shortening her husband's career, positioning the marriage as the thing pulling him away from football, but dig into those same stories and the sources quoted say the exact opposite. One person close to Travis explained plainly that his retirement conversation has always been about longevity, about spending well over a decade in one of the most physically punishing positions in the sport, and specifically not about who he married. Another noted it reflects how much he has already achieved rather than any drop in commitment. The historical record backs that up even more clearly. When Travis seriously considered retiring after a previous season, it was reportedly Taylor who encouraged him to keep playing, wanting him to go out on a high note rather than walk away on a loss.
It's amazing to see her keep going to the table, keep finding new things to write about, keep finding, new melodies and things like that. And on top of that, still seeing her have that love and joy in what she does. And yeah, of course that's motivating. That's motivating for anybody to see, let alone, my fiance. And
he has said publicly that she fully encourages him to enjoy the game, that she loves coming to Arrowhead and cheering him on, and that he has all the support in the world to keep chasing what he wants. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' general manager has confirmed Travis made his intention to return perfectly clear, so the storyline blaming his wife falls apart the moment anyone actually reads past the headline. The wedding itself has also generated its share of grumbling, most of it coming from people who were there. Some of Travis's NFL circle were reportedly frustrated that they received an invitation to the main wedding but not to the smaller rehearsal dinner the night before, which held around 100 guests. That perceived tiering of the guest list apparently stung. Others complained about long buffet lines at the reception, and a few took issue with the raffle the couple held, where guests played games to win designer handbags and other prizes, with one attendee describing it as feeling more like a meet and greet than a wedding reception. People close to the couple have described that wave of criticism as genuinely disheartening, pointing out that Travis has to walk back into a locker room with some of these same people. It is an unusual problem to have, throwing a wedding so enormous that the complaints themselves become their own news cycle. But it is also a reminder that no celebration involving 1,000 guests will ever satisfy every single person who walks through the door. And then there's the speculation about what comes next for Taylor, which has taken a genuinely strange turn. Because a psychic recently made headlines by claiming to know Taylor's exact career plans, saying a tarot reading revealed she will step back from major performing for several years. The claim was not retirement but rather a quieter period focused on writing, recording, and smaller shows, eventually building toward a comeback tour. The psychic went further, insisting Taylor already knows the start date of that future tour, along with its name, theme, and route, and predicting an announcement roughly 4 months before the first show. She also claimed Travis will move toward producing once football ends. It is worth being clear about what that actually is. That is a tarot reading, not reporting. There is no source inside Taylor's camp. No leaked document, no confirmation of any kind. It sits alongside a growing pile of similar predictions circulating online, including psychics forecasting a baby in a specific year, another predicting twin daughters, and another claiming Travis will try coaching, fail at it, and end up in Hollywood. None of it is grounded in anything real. It simply demonstrates how enormous the appetite for information about this couple has become. That the vacuum left by their silence is now being filled by people reading cards. Which, in a strange way, brings everything full circle. The couple's refusal to share anything themselves is exactly why guest accounts like Joe Buck's carry so much weight, why Kylie's few careful sentences got dissected for days, and why psychics are now confidently mapping out tour schedules that do not exist. Pulling all of it together, here's where things actually stand. Joe Buck revealed that Travis was reduced to a puddle twice during the ceremony, first watching his nieces walk down as flower girls and again when Taylor appeared, which matches earlier guest accounts describing him as the more emotional of the two. Especially once Taylor sang part of her 20-minute vows. Kelce called the wedding absolutely magical, while framing it as simply making official what the family already felt, with her own daughters serving as flower girls. Retirement speculation has escalated after a longtime mentor described this as Travis's last dance, though the sources behind those stories explicitly say the decision has nothing to do with his marriage. Some guests have grumbled about rehearsal dinner invitations, buffet lines, and the reception raffle. And a psychic has claimed to know Taylor's entire future touring schedule, which is exactly as reliable as it sounds. Strip away the noise, though, and the picture that keeps emerging from everyone who was actually inside that room is remarkably consistent. A groom who could not hold it together, a bride who sang to him anyway, 4 little girls scattering flowers down a ramp, and a family who saw the whole thing not as a spectacle, but simply as the day the paperwork finally caught up with what they already knew. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.